I'm fresh out of the gym, and I, for one, cannot explain how wonderful it is to feel this at ease going into the playoffs this upcoming weekend. Comparing it to 2021, to even going further, going back to 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2023, there's only a few moments where I felt this sort of confidence and this sort of ease going into a playoff game, whether we had the bye or not. 2017, 2022, and 2024, And what do those 2 other years have in common? We made it to a championship game. We won that championship game, and we were in the running for a Super Bowl championship. We made it to one. We didn't make it to the other. That's about it, And the biggest difference, the most polarizing part of this whole entire puzzle is how competitive the NFC is this year. I mean, you heard it on Instagram. There's a record number of 10-win teams in the NFL this year, and majority of them are in the NFC. We have a few extras like the Rams, the Commanders. It's just a lot of surprising teams this year that came out, showed out, and began competing, which kudos to them. The NFL is always changing. It's every single season something different can happen. You don't know who the best team is going to be, unless if you're Tom Brady and the Patriots during their 2 runs, or if you're Kansas City Chiefs right now in their current dynasty run, right? Like, that's about it. There are only 2 teams, 2 franchises that have had these kind of crazy runs go, and Patriots had it back in the early to mid 2000s, and then obviously in the mid 2010s. And I look at the competition, it really, to me, Washington can be a surprise. Green Bay you can never count out, despite how lackluster they look, and they're pretty injured right now. Detroit. That's about it. And I think everyone's in lock with Eagles-Lions being perhaps the most expected championship matchup in the NFC. The AFC, it's a crapshoot. You got a lot of teams that can compete. I know the Kansas City Chiefs are hands down above and beyond the favorites, 15-win team, one of the only 2 15-win teams, and 2-time reigning champions over there. We understand. However, the Chargers put them to the limit. The Bills beat them. The only team to legitimately beat them. The Broncos can hold their own against them. The Ravens almost beat them. The Steelers, not so much. The Texans, not so much, right? Like, that's kind of what we're looking at here. There's a handful of teams in the AFC that can beat them. In the NFC, when it comes to Super Bowl time, the only 2 teams I think that can actually beat the Chiefs are the Lions and your Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sorry. Sorry to Minnesota. Sorry to Washington. Not so sorry to Washington. Sorry to LA. Sorry to Green Bay. But, the Vikings have clear flaws. We saw that on Sunday night. The Packers are hurt. Christian Watson out for the rest of the year. Jordan Love dinged up, and they're not playing good on the defensive side. The Lions, as good as they are and as much confidence as I do have in them to beat the Chiefs if it isn't us, that defense is so suspect, and you know how Patrick Mahomes is. You know how Travis Kelce is. Andy Reid will scheme up the craziest things with the worst talent in the world and make you look like a fool. That he did it to us. He did it to us 2 years ago. He did it to the Niners twice in the last 5 years. It's a thing. It happens. Coaching goes far above and beyond, and then there's player execution, and that goes back to coaching. And the Lions, they're a gritty, punch you in the mouth type of football team, but when they get battered and bruised, they come right back up and they continue to punch back at you. But there are the moments where you look at them on defense and you go, and the questionable 4th down decisions by Dan Campbell makes you scratch your head a bit. That Vikings game should not have been as close because of how poorly the Vikings were executing on offense. The Lions kept giving them chances to bring it back and keep it close, but the Vikings just were choking the life out of themselves. So I look at them going up against the Rams, and I'm like, they could probably lose to the Rams. They could probably drop that. The Rams have an explosive offense when they're healthy. I haven't even talked about the Buccaneers, probably the hottest team in the entire NFL right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If that team doesn't scare you, I don't know who else would, because Baker Mayfield's playing out of his mind. That defense has found a rhythm. If you can stop their run and make Baker throw first as opposed to play action, different story. But again, you have to get ahead of them and you have to not make mistakes. We fell victim to that in week 4. Commanders week 1, and at the end of the day, that's probably not a team anyone wants to play. Can the Commanders knock them off? I wouldn't be surprised, but we will see. It's just a wild playoff picture, and you don't truly know who's going to be going where or who's going to beat who. All you know is that you have those few teams that you can really say right now that you're looking at, like, excuse me, they're the ones that are going to make a run. And the Eagles and Lions in the NFC above all else, they are the two to look at. Obviously, in the AFC is the Chiefs and the Bills, but the Ravens and the Chargers can give you a run for their money. And you never know what can happen with the Buccaneers and the Rams in the NFC. So we'll see. I just wanted to share my 2 cents going into the playoff picture without talking too much on the Eagles-Packers, because I feel really good about where we are. I wanted to shed light on the rest of the competition, because they matter just as much as us taking care of our own business, right? Because the competition is who we're going up against if we continue to move on. So we'll see how things go. But I'm really excited. This is going to be an interesting, wild playoff run, and I really do believe the Eagles have what it takes. If they don't, then it's been a great year. We'll see how it goes. But, hey, keep up the positivity. The Eagles just got to take care of business. I know Jalen Hurts is kind of shaky right now, according to Nick Sirianni and the team. I think it's all mental game plan, because he has to be cleared by now, right? Like, he has to be. If not, do you really want Tanner McKee to be in a playoff position? I know we have Saquon Barkley, and then this is a topic for Friday. I will make the video, I promise. I know I've been skipping out on those, but it is something you want to worry about. Do you really want to rely on Tanner McKee, or if Kenny Pickett is able to breathe Kenny Pickett? Like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I do believe that Hurts is ready and will be ready, and that they're just being cautious with what they say in the media to kind of keep the Packers on their toes. But we all know what's going to happen. Saquon Barkley is going to get a big bulk of the attention, and the pass game will be just as open because of that Saquon Barkley presence. And that's all I got to say about the game right now. We'll talk more about that later in the week. Let me know your thoughts about the NFL playoff picture, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Fly goes fly, go Sixers, Phillies, whatever the hell. Freaking spring training is almost here, which is ridiculous, but we got the playoffs to worry about first. So let's see how things go.